normal Wednesday for us. Full pads, everybody will be out there.
How's Andrew Thomas doing? Progression here?
Yeah, each day he's improving.
What's that?
Each day he is improving.
You guys put Jackson as 32 on the official depth chart. Is that the plan?
On the
Unofficial depth chart.
unofficial depth chart, yeah. All three quarterbacks are going to be ready to play. So.
There's nothing about the season schedule that's forgiving, but with week 1 in sight, what to this point has given you confidence on both sides of the ball that this squad can get off to a better start?
Yeah, we have a big week ahead of us in terms of our practice and our preparation, and we've been on that since Monday. We're going to have to go out here and have some good days, string them together to be able to go out there and perform at our best.
How has Theo progressed?
He'll be out there. Yep, he's out there. He'll be good to go.
When you're going against a quarterback as versatile as Jaden Daniels, obviously the pass rush is important. We know that he can extend plays with his legs, but when he has as much success in the air, how important is it, if at all, to have nickel and dime packages ready for week 1?
Yeah, he's a very challenging quarterback to defend in all areas, and you said it was a good question. He's able to make plays with his feet, running the football in design runs and zone reads and counter reads. The RPO game, which he's exceptional at. His downfield passing is excellent, and then he keeps plays alive with his eyes downfield and makes plays. He's a tremendous football player. He was that way at LSU. He was that way at Arizona State. He was that way his first year. And he's got a great cast around him, and Cliff does a great job. He's a challenging player. That's why they won so many games last year. That's why they came from behind. Team effort, but he's a guy that's kind of running the show relative to having the ball in his hands every play. He's a hard player to game plan for and defend.
Because of that, is there a possibility that we could see things creatively, defensively, like the nickel or dime package for the game in the air?
Yeah, we'll work through all that this week, but we're going to have to be at our best against a dynamic playmaker.
Being the same person every day, do you expect that consistency of him? You signed him. Is there anything about him that's obviously the process?
No, I just get to know the player. I didn't know him as a coach from an opposing team, albeit on offense. You watch him, you have a great appreciation for how he's played the game for a long time. So, again, glad we have him. He's putting in the work, and looking forward to this week of practice.
What is unique, James, about the moon ball? From your perspective, Russ's moon ball, what is unique about it, and how much can you appreciate his downfield mindset?
Well, I just think he's a good quarterback. So whether it's a vertical pass or an intermediate pass, decision making, he's been that way for a long time. That doesn't mean anything this year or this game, but he's done well for us since he's been here.
In terms of other balls, what is it about the moon ball?
I know he just he's a good feel for arc and pace on the football relative to guys running down the field, where he needs to put it, where to throw it away from defenders, where to put it on the sideline. Again, he's done it for quite some time. Obviously, that's part of his game, but there's a lot of other areas of his game that he does well too.
You talked last year about the research you did. You made the change to take over Mike. Just curious what was the process to change back to Mike this year?
Yeah, Mike's done a great job this preseason. Done a good job with the staff. I got a lot of confidence in Mike and the offensive staff. So up to this point, relative to all the preseason games and the meetings we've had, I've been very pleased with the offensive staff.
How open would you be to the idea of using a quarterback, a backup quarterback, or second quarterback in a specific package? Is it something you've ever done that you would be open to? Would you prefer just leaving one quarterback in the whole time?
Yeah, I think every situation, every year is different. We'll see how it goes.
Did you do it at Alabama?
Yeah, played with Jalen and played with Jalen. Really was a predominant starter, but we got up some there in a lot of games, and Tua was able to develop, come along. But again, every year is different.
We've seen, Brian, other teams around the league do that, where they have their starting quarterback and then they'll throw somebody else in there for a player. How do you balance the change of pace, throwing someone out there for a couple plays, but also not having your starter fall out of rhythm? We've seen that happen across the league too.
Yeah, again, I think each team is unique. Are you referencing a certain team or a certain player? Are you referencing a certain team or player that
Just in
teams
general.
that teams do that?
Yeah, just in general, philosophically, how do you balance when if you were to decide to pull a starter out, how do you keep him in rhythm, or just philosophically, how do you view that?
Yeah, I think, look, every team's different, every situation's different. We'll do what we think is best. But I don't know if you were referencing the Saints or a particular team that does that very
No,
often.
it's specific.
Yeah, okay.
Just going back to the defense one more time, Abdul Carter getting ready to make his NFL Week 1 debut. How much of an impact do you expect him to make in Week 1? And is it even fair to ask that question with him being a rookie and there's a lot of expectations on the defense?
Yeah, so it's the first game for all these young guys that are rookies that are participating and playing. I just expect him to do his job. Whatever the defense calls for, that's what we expect him to do. That's what he's done since he's been here. Again, there's a wave of emotions that happen, leading up to the first game. You got to really control each day, the walkthrough, then the practice, then the meeting, the next day. So all these guys are getting ready to play. For the rookies, it's their first game, but it's still football. But I expect him to, do whatever the defense calls him to do.
Your defensive front gets a lot of hype, right? You got a lot of proven players really there in that front. What are your expectations for that?
Yeah, we haven't played a game yet, so these guys work hard. They do everything we ask them to do. It's really not about what we think of them now. It's how we do during the game, and they're going to go out there and do as good as they can do.
Dave, I know you said last week you talked about Malik and you liked how he had come through this offseason going into year 2. From an off-the-field standpoint, last year is trying for everybody, just the idea of what he does indoors. How have you seen him come out of last year? What do you like about what you're seeing from him?
I like a lot. He's talented. He's in his second year in the system. I think he's really, him and Russ have really bonded, not just on the field but off the field, and he's seen how a professional has done it for that many years in the league. Those guys communicate well. They work after practice. They work in the meeting rooms. He's really done a nice job. So again, he's a good football player first and foremost. That's extremely talented. But I'd say off the field, meeting rooms, all the things that you take a step in from one year to the next. He's done that, and he's done it well.
With a whole new QB room, just to this point again, how much has the chemistry developed with those 3 guys and the receivers?
Yeah, I like our room. Again, there's a mix, veterans, a young rookie, but there's a certain way that the veterans, I would say both Russ and Jameis, have done things for a long time in terms of meeting on off days, getting guys together, throwing extra, that is Jackson's able to see and try to emulate, and see it. This is the way that it should look. And then with the receivers, there's a lot of times that, for example, Malik, you ask, there's a special teams meeting, and I'll pop my head in the quarterback room, and he'll be sitting in there with the quarterbacks and Wandell and Slay, and that communication process is really important.
Two more.
With Russ, obviously, there's more experience than you've had here at quarterback. Does that give you a different level of trust, just kind of knowing what he's done to this point with his career?
Yeah, again, we're in the first game, so we haven't played a regular season game yet. We'll go out here, we'll do the best we can in terms of getting ready to play a really talented team. Have a lot of confidence in our guys, but again, we have to go out there and do it.
Did Neighbors do that last year?
I would say it's a pretty regular that he does it, with Russ and sitting with those guys, and it's pretty cool to hear sometimes because you like to see the game through the quarterback's eyes. The skilled players, you want them to see it. The quarterback sees everything. Sometimes receivers just see their side of it, or tight ends, but I'd say Malik is unique in the fact that he sees it through the quarterback's eyes. So it's good. It's good conversation to have in there, because it's good when the quarterbacks give their perspective. And even with Slay and Wandell, they'll give their perspective on why they ran it this way, what they were thinking versus this coverage, what Russ saw. So those communication meetings, if you will, when it's just not just the quarterbacks, because they're always meeting. When the other guys jump in during those meetings, it's helpful.
How do you feel about your offensive line right now?
Yeah, again, just like all the guys, Serbs, I think the guys have been working, communicate well. We'll have a tough task ahead of us when game 1 starts.